Tonight on Connecticut's news station, a mother and her young daughter are in the hospital tonight after a river rescue in one Connecticut town. We'll have the newest details.
Also, police in several parts of our state are investigating potential domestic violence killings. We're going to look at how our state is trying to address the problem.
And new developments tonight as the state releases an audit of a for-profit nursing school that suddenly closed. Find out what the Stone Academy audit results mean for former students.
Breaking news now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And we begin tonight with police investigating after a person was shot and killed in Hartford. Good evening. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. Thank you so much for joining us. It happened on Barber Street in the city's north end. Another person also injured this evening.
Let's go right to Fox 61's Gabby Molina, who joins us live at the scene tonight. What have you learned, Gabby?
Jen and Brent, two people were shot near 395 Barber Street sometime before 8:30 this evening, and police are still out here. I'll step out of the way so you can take a look at the scene because a large portion of Barber Street is still blocked off at this hour between Risley Street and Cleveland Avenue. Now, again, this is still very early into the investigation, but we do know, again, that two people were shot here. One of those people has died from their injuries. A second person is injured, though we don't know how serious that person's injuries are. Now, police have not given any details as to who the victims might be. We do know, however, this is the 18th homicide in the city this year, the second in 24 hours, as one happened last night as well. Again, still very early into the investigation, and we are expecting to hear from police a little bit later this evening. So we'll continue to stay on top of this breaking news and bring you any new details as soon as we learn more about what happened here tonight. Live in Hartford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Gabby, thank you, and keep us updated. Well, clear skies tonight, but we had some storms earlier today.
Yeah, let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank and see if we can finally dry out a bit, Rach.
Yeah, we have a couple of drier days on the way. When you get two back-to-back dry days this summer, it's a win. But once again, storms lighting up the sky earlier. This is from Kevin in Bristol. You can see lightning striking the ground here. And then when we showed that photo today on the news at 6, Ken responded and said, maybe the lightning was striking this tree because you can see it actually split it in half here. So really impressive there. Again, that photo in Bristol. Here's a look at those showers and thunderstorms that came through earlier. Now, as we look at the radar, things are much calmer, and it looks like we'll continue to dry out as we head through the evening tonight. Temperatures right now are in the 70s across the state. There could be areas of patchy fog as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. Otherwise, tomorrow we're looking at a partly cloudy start to the day. But as we head through lunchtime, I actually think we'll cloud up quite a bit. We've got a system that's going to be passing just to the south of us. I think we likely stay dry. There is a chance for an isolated shower from this, but most of the state is going to stay rain-free with high temperatures in the 80s. And, wait for it, a little bit of a break in the humidity for the first time in a while. Not that it's going to be refreshing, but just not that tropical, soupy Florida air mass we've been dealing with lately. But the rain, the high humidity, doesn't stay away for too long. We'll explain coming up.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Well, we are following some breaking news right now in the Chautauqua River tonight that shows how dangerous high water levels can be. State police say a mother and a daughter are in the hospital after they were pulled from the river in the Baltic section of the town of Sprague. Baltic firefighters say the mother is in her mid-30s and her daughter is about 5 or 6. The two were swimming at River Park and got swept away by fast currents. Firefighters caught up with them about 25 minutes later near the town's border with Norwich. We'll bring you updates as soon as we learn more information.
And new at 10, Connecticut has seen several homicides in the last few days, and the two more recent ones involve possible domestic violence.
22-year-old Anastasia Paul was found dead in her home in Vernon yesterday. On the same day, and in a separate case in Hartford, 64-year-old Carolyn Williams was found shot dead in her home.
Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner spoke with an expert about the problem of domestic violence here in Connecticut, and she joins us now with what she found out. DeAndrea.
But you guys, experts tell me that these murders are just a grim reminder of how prominent domestic violence is, not only in Connecticut, but also across the country.
It's the ultimate sign of power and control. It's taking away someone's life.
On Monday, there were 2 domestic-related murders in Connecticut. One in Vernon, where 23-year-old Abdul Mahbub was arrested and charged in the death of 22-year-old Anastasia Paul. She was found dead in her apartment when Vernon police were performing a welfare check. Her accused killer faced a judge on Tuesday.
Has a long history, considering his relatively young age, for domestic violence offenses. The victim in this case was the victim in those prior domestic-related incidents.
Another domestic-related murder happened hours later in the capital city. 63-year-old Lance Logan is accused of shooting and killing his girlfriend, 64-year-old Caroline Williams. He also appeared in court on Tuesday. According to the Connecticut Coalition Against Domestic Violence, around 40% of intimate partner homicides in Connecticut happen with a gun.
We know in Connecticut, firearms are still the single most commonly used weapon in intimate partner homicides. About 40% of homicides in intimate partner homicides in Connecticut occur with a firearm.
Another stat from the coalition, Connecticut averages around 14 intimate partner homicides per year. Comparatively to other states, that number is low, but advocates say that even one number is too much.
So again, we want victims to know that help is available 24/7.
Now, police say that both intimate partner murders are still under investigation. In Vernon, the cause of death of Anastasia Paul has not yet been released. In the studio, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Awful, DeAndrea. Thank you very much. Well, new at 10, a teen girl is being remembered after she died today from her injuries in a quadruple shooting on Saturday. 17-year-old Alondra Vega Martinez was about to start her senior year at Bulkley High School next month. Hartford School Board held a moment of silence for her in its meeting tonight.
And 17 years old is too young to leave this world and this earth. So this evening, I would like to have a moment of silence for Alondra Vega Martinez, 17 years old, a student of Bulkley High School.
25-year-old Joseph Vargas Mercado of Philadelphia was also killed. 33-year-old Carlos Frank Nieves, who's also from Philly, is facing 11 charges in the shooting, including home invasion. And new developments at 10 as the state releases the student records audit results from Stone Academy.
Yeah, the for-profit nursing school suddenly closed in February over concerns about unqualified teachers and invalid clinical experience. Former students have spent 5 months worried about their academic futures and their careers.
Fox 61's Jake Garcia joins us live in East Hartford tonight to explain what's in that audit and what's next for hundreds of former Stone Academy students. Jake.
Well, Brent and Jen, today's announcement is a step forward for hundreds of students who have been unable to receive a copy of their transcripts as the Office of Higher Education called for an audit to determine what's next for those students.
Honestly, I'm at the point where I'm not believing anything until I see it for myself.
For students who attended Stone Academy, like Kristen Franchuk, the process has been long and stressful.
When I started going through courses and I was almost done, I've been crying almost every day when it was over. I see a counselor because of my frustrations. I'm being honest. I need somebody to talk to.
Tuesday, the State Office of Higher Education announced it was releasing the transcripts of more than 800 students who were part of an audit to determine the validity of their credits from the now shuttered academy. Results of the audit determined that in most cases, the clinical experiences cannot be counted because it was provided by unqualified faculty and at inappropriate sites. It also found Stone Academy did not have the documents showing students completed clinical hours. The executive director of the Office of Higher Education said in a statement that the school was not providing students with the education needed to take the NCLEX or practice as an LPN, going on to say, quote, "My office will make sure students are refunded for their out-of-pocket tuition payments that are refundable under the law and know the options available to them to complete their education as quickly as possible." The audit results come days after Attorney General William Tong announced a lawsuit against Stone Academy and its owner, Joseph Bierbaum.
Stone promised that it would prepare them to become nurses, and it totally failed.
The Office of Higher Education announcing $263,000 will be used to repay students for out-of-pocket expenses.
I shouldn't have to pay back a dime, just like no student that went there that is going through this should have to pay back a dime.
Now, the audit also found about $13 million paid from the federal government through financial aid paid to Stone Academy on behalf of students. Now, the Office of Higher Education recommends that students apply for a loan discharge for that federal financial aid. As far as what's next, the Office of Higher Education plans to hold a webinar with students to discuss that, answer any questions they may have. A date for that has not been released, but should be coming out in the next few days. Live in East Hartford, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.